it's your girl Couture. So today I am going to show you how I find the right color for hair and also skin. Mind you, this is just one way to do it. There's so many different ways. So I have 3 different layers so far. The first one I use like a imported brush and I used a brown color just to kind of get a rough line of what my lines are going to be. The second layer I went in with an anime pen, which I will show you a little later on. And then on the third layer I just went ahead and finalized what my lines were going to be. And then once I got my final lines in, and I have another video coming out where I'm going to show like how I do my line work. But once I finished getting my lines together, I went ahead and added another layer. I put it underneath the layer that has my lines on it. And to color, I'm choosing to use this anime pen that I imported, but you can also go to the inking part and choose marker. You can really use whatever you want, but both of these are kind of my favorite. For this one, I'm going to use the anime pen that I imported. And you can go to your colors, clicking the round circle on the top right hand side. And then once you're in that and you have the pen selected, you can take I'm using an Apple pen, but whatever styles you're using, you hover it over your reference photo and just press down on like whatever part of the hair you're trying to get a color for, and then that color is going to show up on the right hand side in that little circle at the top. And then you can go ahead and get the brush to the size that you want and start trying out colors. So this first color I just kind of felt was a little too maybe muddy and just not bright enough for what I was going for. And so you're going to see me go ahead and redo the process of just like pressing my stylus down on the reference photo to try different color variations in order to figure out what color I want to go with. Also, I got this reference photo of the princess from Brave just like from a Google search, so it's just one of those stock images. So this is something that I like to do, putting multiple colors next to each other just to kind of see like what I'm looking for. At this point I'm still not completely sure what color I want. And then also I might turn the opacity up and down. So the 2 circles that's on the right hand corner of the screen, it's a lighter gray one and then also a darker one. The one at the bottom, if you have your opacity on in your tool menu, that's going to be used to bring the opacity up and down. Another thing I like to do is create a palette in order to kind of see what colors I've already used and also like stockpile sort of a new palette of colors. So when you click on the circle at the top right and pull up the colors, you can scroll down, and once you find a palette that has some empty spaces, or you can create a new palette, you can just tap your stylus into one of those squares, and whatever color is already loaded in the circle at the top right, that's what's going to go inside that box. And so as you see here, I'm just basically creating a palette for different colors that I can use for her hair. Also, at this point, I'm not completely sure if I'm going to do a 3D version of this, if I'm going to have shadows and lights, and if I'm just going to do one solid color. So it's kind of good to get as many different colors from this reference photo as I possibly can. That's going to all work well together for her hair color. So I realized at this point that I didn't like any of the colors from that. So I went back to Google and I'm just typing in, you know, the character from Brave, and then I'm going to look for a different photo reference. And so yeah, I'm just gonna leave that process in here. This is very much raw and unedited, just to kind of see my process and how I go about finding the right colors. So at this point, I think my thought process was maybe I should get some references that are a 2D animation, since the movie itself is more 3D animated, and the painting that I'm creating is not really about to be 3D. So I thought maybe the colors from this might work better. But you're going to see me grab a few different more references so I can have sort of some options to choose from. I would always suggest using a reference. I'm in school and I know some teachers may say like, don't use a reference. Some people feel like it's cheating. Other people say use a reference. My thing is whatever makes you happy. It cannot be that serious to me. That's just my personal opinion. A lot of times when you go to draw something, or especially if you start to add color, I think the eye, like the human eye, we feel like we know what it is that we are seeing. But like if you go to draw a horse and you don't have a reference, like you're gonna find very quickly, unless you just draw horses all the time, for the most part, that what you think a horse looks like and what it actually looks like is completely different. It's like two different things. And so having a reference and something that you can pull from, I feel is just like the most helpful tool. But that's just my 2 cents. Do whatever makes you happy. So you see I have completely erased all of the colors, and I'm going in. You go to canvas, you go to the tool, the tool icon at the top, you click on canvas, and then you go down to reference, and then you can click on image, and you can pull up all those images that you just saved onto your iPad. And I chose this one because I felt like the colors were more vibrant, and I realized that that's what I was really looking for, was like a red that's just vibrant. This is actually my first or second time painting someone with ginger hair, so ginger hair color. So yeah, this first color still felt a little muted to me, so I just went back in, and this is a color I decided to go with. But now I have all these colors saved in one of my color palettes, and so I can kind of go through and use them and reference back to them and not have to keep trying to find them in my reference photo. So that is also something that I recommend. Just creating a palette for yourself. You don't always have to make a new one, but just saving those colors so you can have it as a reference point to go back to. So I made my brush larger, and then I'm just going to cover every single part that I want to be red. I know that there are probably like 700 million different ways to color in Procreate. However, I don't like to use the fill in because I don't connect my lines. It's just a part of my style, and also the way I do it is just like satisfying to me. So that's why I do it this way. This is just sharing my process. So once I have put all of the color on that I want, I went ahead and made a second layer underneath the first red layer, and this is going to be for my low lights. The reason I put it underneath and on a separate layer is, one, When you put in your shadows and highlights, depending on your style, you go in with an eraser and you can kind of turn the shadows into different shapes, and it just can add to the artwork. But if you put it on top of, like on the same layer and put it on top of the color, then it makes it impossible to really go in and erase it the way that you want to. So here you see me putting in the lower shadow color, and then once I get the shadows in, I'm gonna go in with my eraser and change it into the shape that I want. And this changes, like the shapes that I do change with whatever character I'm doing. Everything is kind of just based on your mood for that moment. Also, I would like to add, these have been very quick sketches. I think I did like 2 drawings a day for like 5 days, while it's finals week, I'm in school. So I did not spend a lot of time on these, but I did spend some time. But I didn't do as many like shadows and highlights as I would normally do. I think I even started to do highlights, and then I was like, no, I'm not even gonna put myself through that, because all of these are being turned into animations, and then they're going to be added to one video. So I am gonna post a separate video to show how I animated this, but this video is just strictly to show how I find my colors for hair and also for skin color. And now the fun part, just going through and erasing all of the unnecessary red, is so satisfying. Okay, so now on to the skin and how I choose skin color. I create another layer. I'm putting it underneath the hair layer, and that's just a personal preference because whatever layer is on top, that layer is going to be like a hierarchy, and so anything that's underneath it is not going to show on top of it, and if it does, it'll be very light opacity. And so just for the coloring process, it's easier for me to put whatever I'm working on underneath what I already worked on so I can see it better. I got this color that I'm using right now by pressing the stylus onto the reference photo and getting a color from there, and you can see that color is loaded in that circle in the top right corner of the screen. I didn't like this color. I felt like it was a little like lackluster. It just felt like it wasn't bright enough for me. So then I went ahead and decided to try and mix a couple of colors. So I got the lighter color from the reference photo, and I'm going in with that. I changed the opacity so you can still see the other color, the darker color underneath. Basically, if you notice from this video, a lot of color matching is kind of a trial and error. You know, you're looking at color theory, you're pulling the canvas back, you're looking to see if it's what you want, and sometimes you don't even know exactly what you want. You just know that maybe what you're seeing is not exactly what it is that you're wanting to put out. And so if you don't like it, erase it. That's the best thing about digital art, is that it's just you can either click the eraser button and erase something, or you can take 2 fingers and double tap on your screen and it's going to backspace whatever you just did. And that way it does have a little bit of, that would be the digital privilege. Instead of using traditional art, you can just very quickly erase it or take the visibility off of a layer. So I went to the color palettes and I went and scrolled down until I got to Campfire, and on the very last row I grabbed I think it was the 4th one over, and I ended up using this one. It just felt I use that palette a lot for skin colors. And so this one just felt like it had a little more presence to it, a little more life to it, and so I decided to use this. It just is a less dull color. And now it's time to clean it up. thank you so much, guys, for watching. Again, don't forget to be inspired and have a great day.